Layer 4, it is called the transport layer. Transport layer. Then at that time I can ask you, what is the role of transport? Role of transport. Transport. Or transport device. Transport devices are used to transmit, to carry the delivery product from a seller to a buyer. Then on our computer, this transport layer, it ensures end-to-end delivery of entire message. Our message you have must be delivered, must be transported from one device to another device. It acts as a liaison. Liaison, it means that a transporter, I think it is like that. It acts as a transporter or sharing, act of sharing correct information in efficient manner, providing service to the application layer. This transport provides the service to application layer. While utilizing is the same as using. While using the infrastructure of the network layer. While using infrastructure, the tools of network layer to ensure data reach correct application on the destination. Means that we need to use some tools of network layer to ensure that the data is reached. Zageze cause igomba kugera to a destination. What we have seen, we have data unit. In the transport layer, data are broken down into what we call a segment. Are you getting me? Data are broken down, are divided into a segment. Service point addressing. Now we are in function of transport layer. Service point address. Use a port number, for example, a port of 18 for web traffic to ensure data is delivered to a specific process application intended, not just the device. This means that turakoresha a port number kugira ngo twishore to making sure ko data zageze kuri special processor application, not just the devices. We have segmentation and reassembly. It is another function. Split large message into a small segment for transmission and reassemble them in the correct order at the destination. Means that, remember here we are saying the data are taken and broken or divided into a segment. Now it is that message. We are taking that message and divide into a small segment, and then after it reaches to the receiver, will be also combined. Those small segments are also taken and connected together and to convert it into a large message in order to reach to the destination. Tukuvuga ngo twazigabanyije mu bice tukiri kuri sender, ako nitugera kuri receiver turakenera kuza kongera kuzisubiranya hamwe kugira ngo zize kugera kuri destination zuzuye. Some protocols we found that can be used in a transport layer, it is TCP or UDP. Common protocols dushobora gusanga ziri gukora muri iyi transport layer, we have transmission control protocol or UDP. UDP, which is unique user datagram protocols. When we are using TCP, means we are going to make a connection orientation. When we use UDP, it is we need to fast deliver, but we are not need connection orientation. It is connectionless. Are you getting it? Yes. Now we are ending layer 4. We start with layer. It is layer number 5 in the OSI model. This session layer acts as a dialogue manager. Dialogue, it is a conversation between two people. Now we are in networking. When we are reaching in networking, means there is two devices are communicating, are making the communication. So dialogue manager, it is the manager of communication. Manager of communication between two devices, governing the opening, closing, and the security of communication channel between two devices. They govern, they control, manage. The opening, how can we start now communication? How can we close the communication? That communication make it in two devices. Ensure that two communicating devices can establish a meaningful dialogue. Ese izi devices ebyiri zirimo gukorana cyangwa se zigiye gucommunicatinga ziri gushyiraho uburyo ikiganiro gisobanutse, exchanging data in an organized manner, exchanging, sharing, one send, another one receive, one received can also send, another receiver can also receive, and be a proper close the section when the communication is now completed. And how can we close this communication when the communication is also completed? Now we have the functions of this one. Session life cycle. Manage the establishment, maintenance, and the termination of connection between applications. Authentication and security. Ensure that the communicating parties, the communicating devices are verified and the connection is secured. If they are communication or their connection is secured, it is the task of session layer. Another one, it is synchronization. Insert a checkpoint into a data stream. This allows transfer to resume from the last saved point if fail occur, rather than restoring from the beginning. Ese ngo synchronize aba bantu barahuje cyangwa se biyobo. Niba habayeho fail kuri message runaka, aho kugira ngo tujye kongera kuyohereza, ahubwo twakora icyo twita restoring. Dialogue control, nkuko twabibonye yuko it is a dialogue manager. Dialogue ni ikiganiro kiri hagati y'abantu. Ubwo hano ni communication between two devices. Direct irayobora whether a communication is half duplex or it is full duplex. Now we reach on the presentation layer. which is layer of 6. 6 layer of OSI model. Yes, of OSI model. We are still on OSI model. We have presentation layer. This presentation can be also called the translation layer or syntax layer. Ishobora kwitwa translation cyangwa se kwitwa syntax. Bivuze ngo babigwaye byombi ushobora kubimenya. Twifashishije iyi translation layer nuko turimo kubyumva. It translate. It ensures that data is formatted, secured, and compressed so that the receiving application can correctly interpret it. A simple data is well formatted, well organized, well structured, is secured, and it is compressed. When we are saying it is compressed, it means that the size of data is minimized. Yabaye yagabanwe ariko ntabwo turimo kuruzinga the quality of the data. That is compression. When the application layer generates data, mu gihe application layer yabonye data cyangwa se yasivinze the data, presentation layer convert it into a standard form that can be transmitted across the network. Standard form, not the form. Standard form that can be transmitted across the network. Presentation layer convert this data generated. Irakonvertinga za data zabaye generated. Muri standard form, bityo rero zishobora kuba transmitted across the network. Similarly, when a data is received, it translates it into a format the receiving system can process. Niba data zibaye received, hano twari turi muri generated zibaye received, irazitranslating muri format receiving system ubwo ni ukuvuga receiver side can process. Maintain a proper syntax and the semantics of the data. Provide encryption, secure. Ensure that the data is secure. Now provide encryption and decryption for secure communication. Apply compression techniques to optimize a bandwidth usage. Twayigabanyirije size ariko ntabwo twaruzinze its quality, bityo rero bivuze ngo dushaka optimizinga bandwidth. Optimize is like to maximize. Ensure compatibility between different systems and devices. Those are the rules. Now the functions. It can translate data translation. It convert a data into a standard format from the side of receiver and from the side of sender. Data compression. It compresses the data. Iragabanya the size of the data. Compression. Data encryption and decryption. It encrypts, making a security decode a message and encode a message. Syntax and semantics management. Now it is the function of the presentation. We reach on the last most one of layer of OSI model, which is application layer. Tugeze kuri layer ya nyuma ya karindwi ya OSI model twita application layer. Is the topmost layer of OSI model that ensure direct interaction, direct interaction between end user applications and the network. Ensures direct interaction between end user application that may be a web browser, those applications can be a web browser and so on, to the network. Closest layer to the end user. Closest layer yegeranye cyane na end user. End user, it is a device. End user device. Provide network services to applications. Provide the network services to applications. Remember, we are saying OSI model that ensure direct interaction between end user application and the network. Means that this application layer, it provides network services to the application we are saying. Which application? It may be web browser. Web browser. It may be file access. Enable file transfer, email, web access, and remote logging. Maybe we have database. We need to log in that database. So it provides end user interaction between network and the end user application.